Also, RVB's
Hey, we're live, buddy. We're live. Chill out, would you? Hey, guys. This is the Alliance Tournament. I'm CCV Rise here with a very excited Sir Squeebles because we have some Maelstroms on the field.
I wouldn't say that's why I'm excited, but I am excited, and there are, in fact, Maelstroms on the field, so we're right about that. Really interesting teams on both sides. I mean, this is something new with the Maelstroms. Monkeys with Guns, who I expected to field a Glinty Rush again, they went with a very PL counter-style Tinker setup. They've got a Golem, a Vulture, 3 Ishtars, and a Logi Loki. So we'll see how they manage that. And on the other team, we are looking at 3 Maelstroms, a Claymore, a Basilisk, and a very healthy Frigwing with 2 Mollis, 2 Merlins, 2 Kestrels, and a Griffin by Red Alliance.
It's a really useful shot. Yeah, Maelstroms, pretty strange choice, but might actually work really well against the Seeker setup. If they can just alpha Loki off the field, they might be in pretty good shape. They know their targets aren't going to move around all that much. They can ignore the Golem for the most part. We'll have to see if they're able to kill anything. In general, Maelstroms are not a great tournament ship. They're really easy to mess with and like make their turrets not do anything, and they can't move, and so generally it's a bad idea, but this actually might be a match that they're not all that ill-suited for, so we'll see how it goes. You can see E-War getting applied across the board to Monkeys with Guns, but Ishtar drones still doing work. Whoa, Basilisk down real quick.
Yeah, they turn the pencil upside down and erase that Bazzy. Now they are applying damage to nothing, but we're anxiously awaiting. Meanwhile, the Loki is taking shield damage. His tank should be pretty sturdy. I'm not zoomed in yet, but yep, the Aerocap transfer is going. He's already boosting. Everything is comfortable. Meanwhile, Unuk in the Maelstrom is taking shield damage. He does have a shield booster, so we're using that particular advantage of the Maelstrom. And he's holding, but not for long. He's got 9 boosts worth of ASB, and at that point, he's just going to be on a Hope tank. We do have a Smart Bomber, though, and the Claymore has Smart Bombs, and he has dove right into the middle of this Tinker and started Smart Bombing.
So in an apparent effort to make sure that the Maelstrom guns don't do anything at all, they're just MWDing straight through the middle of this Tinker setup. Surely not tracking whatsoever for the time being, at least. Hopefully they eventually just decide to sit still and see if their guns can do any damage. But from that range, you see right there, they're all wrapped up in this ball. They've made it really easy for the Monkeys with Guns team to just orbit them and turn down a whole bunch of their damage. Loki is webbed, and actually at close range, the damage is getting a lot higher, of course, now that they've slowed down from just being close. Let's see if they're able to break him. Looks like maybe they can.
I mean, their application is better, but their overall DPS is about to be a lot less as Unuk dies. I think maybe they were trying to drive through that Tinker in the hopes of accidentally catching shield reps from the Loki, as their own Logi was dead, but this Maelstrom of Unuk goes down. The Loki is really low, though. He's breaking a sweat, and as a matter of fact, he's breaking the bank because that Loki is dead.
Dang, that's a big deal. Now no reps left really anywhere for Monkeys with Guns, meaning Maelstroms can just go to work. They should take these Ishtars out really quick. They are down a Logi, like you said, so this Maelstrom should go down pretty quick as well, but now it's a pretty even match, I'd say. Maybe in favor of Red Alliance, actually.
Yeah, I think the important thing if you're on Monkeys with Guns right now is you have got to get the damage out of these Ishtars before they die, because they are going to die. That's just the reality of where they're at right now. Maybe one might survive on the outside, but these Ishtars need to make sure they're applying full force. If they've got anything useful in the high slots besides that camp transfer, they need to be putting it down. And if they don't trade both of these Maelstroms before these Ishtars are out, this is going to be a really, really tough battle for Monkeys with Guns as one of the 3 goes down.
Yeah, first Ishtar down, and our camera person there doing a great job zooming in on the Maelstrom, so you can see there is actually local shield boosting going on for those Maelstroms. So even though they've lost Logi, they are not actually out of active tank, and as they kill these Ishtars, that tank's going to be more and more meaningful. So looks like this Maelstrom might be on reload now on that ASB, but we know the other one should have a pretty big tank in store. So if they can take down another Ishtar or 2, it may be possible that the Maelstrom will just be able to last the entire fight. Although whether or not Red Alliance can break that Golem is definitely debatable as well. So we have a pretty close match on our hands still, I'd say.
Well, I would say pretty definitively they cannot break that Golem unless he makes a really tremendous mistake. I do see some Curators out now on the side of Monkeys with Guns that are being smart bombed by this Claymore effectively. Whether those are active drones or abandoned, I don't know, but it's not going to matter much longer because the second of 3 Ishtars is now dead. The DPS is coming out of the Golem, the Vulture, and the Ishtar. That's all that's left. It did take him a long time to grind through those first two Maelstroms. This third one is maybe struggling with his shield booster a bit as he's going
Ooh,
down a little bit quicker.
third Maelstrom activating an MJD at the moment. There you see him charging up to just peace out from this point in the middle of the fight. Oh my god.
They have Monkeys with Guns came in with a strong MJD based strategy, and it has paid off as the Maelstrom boundary violates. This Ishtar is actually holding, and if there was any question before that Maelstrom exited the match in a very stylish manner, there's not anymore. This is a pretty much closed case.
It's not closed yet. Okay, it's very close. But there's a Claymore, which it's hard to say if they can break the Claymore's tank. Probably they can, but we have to see. And in the meantime, he's wearing down this Ishtar, which doesn't really have any tank left himself. So I wouldn't say it's completely over yet, but that definitely doesn't help Red Alliance too much.
Well, I think there's still a possibility, but what I was going to say is on the outside chance, right, that this Ishtar goes down without trading for anything, which it does look like it's going to be the case, you've got a Vulture and a Golem, both of which have really, really substantial tanks. The Vulture is likely to be buffer tank. I mean, he can definitely fit an ASB if he'd like to, and he may have, but in a Tinker, not always the case. So it's going to take him a while to chew through this Vulture, and in the meantime, if this Golem is putting out DPS on these frigates, it might become a battle of points and not a clean sweep like it looked like it might have been.
So the Ishtar is about to go down. I am surprised that the that the Monkeys with Guns team, the Golem especially, hasn't switched to trying to take out some of these support frigates. The Golem, immune to E-War, he can lock far enough away to shoot at the support ships, and it looks like Griffin just went down, huh? Was he down before? Anyway, Ishtar down for Monkeys with Guns. They only have 2 ships left, just a Vulture and a Golem. The Vulture is not going to be all that useful because he's going to be damped so bad that it's going to be hard for him to lock anything except the Claymore, which he can't break. And it looks like there's one of those Merlins really close too, actually.
Well,
anyway,
if you're on the Monkeys with Guns team, right, and you've got this Vulture, you've got this Golem, you have to be looking at accruing enough points based on the assumption that your Vulture is eventually going to die. It should take a really substantially long time.
I don't think the Vulture is going to die. I think the Vulture is just like the Claymore. They're both just going to sit there and tank the whole match. I think the only thing left in this match that can die are the support frigs, and they need to kill 10 points worth of them. Oh, no, never mind.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, they can't kill anything else.
So this, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Worst case scenario, maybe the Vulture goes down. But at this point, the Golem is so safe and he's so comfortable that I don't think they're really too worried. But there's probably an awkward and tense silence on comms for Monkeys with Guns right now, and that is appropriate. Speaking of the Claymore tanking forever, things like command ships, which we see fit with ASBs all the time, especially the Claymore, which is really, really tanky. It's kind of psychological warfare from a target calling's perspective, because you're talking about 9 ASB charges and then a little bit maybe on the local cap, and you commit to killing this really tanky thing, and maybe you get 5 ASB charges in, and then there's something else closer that's a little easier to kill. Do you risk allowing the Claymore to reload, or do you keep on him until he breaks? And that can be really tough, especially in standoffs, which this very nearly was. Fortunately, they don't have to make that decision now, but it is interesting to note that the limited active tanking capabilities of some of these command ships is a real debate a lot of times on comms as to whether you keep on them or switch.
Yeah, definitely a big decision. Like you say, lucky for them in this case, it's not a decision they're going to have to worry about. They, with that Maelstrom just seeing himself out, locked up this pretty comfortably, and they're picking away at the support fleet now, killing Kestrels, Merlins, and Griffins at their leisure, but without any ability to break the tanks on the Monkeys with Guns team. Red Alliance will definitely be leaving the tournament after this match. So, really interesting one. Another match where 6-man Tinker setup with a Marauder actually does really well. Granted, it was against Maelstroms, but Maelstrom should be able to actually have a pretty good chance against this kind of setup relative to a lot of the other things they could have faced.
Yeah, and I jokingly said before the match that I did hope that the Maelstroms burned right in and spoiled their own tracking, and lo and behold, it happened. So it is definitely a sad moment for Red Alliance, but Greg 2010 in the Claymore's got to be happy because he's gotten on every one of these kill mails with those smart bombs, so silver linings, I guess, for Red Alliance.
I think it's been the case in tournament matches forever that managing that battleship DPS early in the match has such a huge impact on the way a lot of these fights go, and I think it gets underestimated a lot. It's very hard to move the ship to the optimal range without hurting your own tracking for a really significant amount of time because of how long it takes the battleship to speed up and slow down. And I think this was a case of that, like you said, where charging through the maelstroms waste at least 10 or 15 seconds where they're probably not tracking at all, and that actually ends up making a really big difference when you know the matches come down to this close of an end. So really pays off to have really good pilots in those heavy DPS ships.
And yeah, absolutely. That's something a lot of times, anytime your DPS is turret based, especially on things like Sleipnirs, you see it referred to as a finesse setup based on how it works, especially with, say, Hydra's artillery Sleipnirs. Finesse is the exact right word for that, because your DPS is not. It's not like Gila's where you can project perfectly, right? There's still definitely speed to factor in. There's a necessity for tackle, but when you're talking about guns, it is really a manual piloting game. It's not necessarily a communication game as much as it is on a certain level as knowing where your ship is, how your damage is applying, and how to individually amplify that damage as much as possible. And now it's gotten down to this Claymore as time runs out. And
match ended some time ago.
Well fought, well fought.
Those ships killed after the match ended will be reimbursed, of course. But anyway, guys, Monkeys with Guns taking this one off Red Alliance. Red Alliance leaving the tournament. Monkeys with Guns, we'll see you next week. And we'll be back in just a minute with our last match of the day, actually, Triumvirate versus Revolution.